We're back at the tomb. Now this is the full tour. We came for the pre-tour for Tomb Blaster, however things have changed and this is now the full tour which is available to everyone. The only place we can't record is obviously the yacht box, but we're going to have a good look around Tomb Blaster and I can't wait. Here are the Tomb Blaster trains.
So as Beth was saying, in the yacht box, just down there is that little key that the ride host will turn. They will then do their thumbs up just over there to the camera, which the operator can see. I don't have to say that.
It's the touch of the track, isn't it?
It's completely disconnected to any hot track, so we always let people touch this bit. So this helps the train to be able to turn into the engineering workshop, which is actually just behind there. When we get to the end of the ride, you can see a lot better where it is. But actually the end of the ride is just over there. And this bit over here is one of our first things to do with the ride that was here before, Terror Tomb. Have either of you been on Terror Tomb? So this section that we're in at the moment is called the ramp, for obvious reasons, as you see the ramp going up. So, how do you go up?
Just don't see any of this. You don't see it. Lighting is incredible.
The scarab beetle, a little touch, just do not touch the light in the middle of the scarab beetle.
Polystyrene as well.
So just a bit about the history of the ride. So this originally opened when the park opened in 1987 as Fifth Dimension. So Fifth Dimension was told the story of a TV repair robot called Zapamatic who got stuck inside of a video game. You actually had to go in and help him. So this area here was the minimizer. So just down there was giant pencils and books as you'd come across, and a giant TV right at the top over here, sort of give you the effect that you were shrinking. But in 1994 they decided to close Fifth Dimension and open it as Terror Tomb. The reason why they did that is because a lot of people didn't actually understand the plot of Fifth Dimension.
I will say, last time I was here I didn't notice the Bose acoustic, which is the same as what they've got in Nemesis Inferno, which really adds to it. But here's the elusive boulder. Bless it. But you don't see any of this. You don't see any of this. It's just incredible what lighting does for a ride. You taking some pictures? It's very picture-matic, isn't it?
So welcome to the snake pit. Named for obvious reasons, it is literally a pit of snakes. So again, this has been here since the days of Terror 2. The snakes did used to come out a lot further though, and they made a lot more loud noises. We also used to have Abdab over here who was taunting us. Now if you look at this wall over here, you can notice this sort of strange white stuff all around it. These guys who have always been here. But obviously you're facing over here, so you always miss everything on this side gets missed.
Look at that. So these patterns here, these are original Fifth Dimension patterns. However much you paint over them, they just come back.
Some more just over here.
And then there's some more just down here. It does bring back. Wow.
So the first thing I'm going to point out is that snake just down there. That used to be in our final battle scene of Terror Tomb. It's now been moved here. It was right in the middle of the scene. I'll point it out later on. It's sort of behind where the snake used to be. So that's where the name Snake Alley comes from. There's also a little tiny snake there to sort of solidify the name. The other things we have in this area are these two giant spiders. These are actually from Fifth Dimension as well. They used to be at the top of these spider webs, but they got a bit too heavy, which is why they've moved them down and they put two a lot lighter spiders into the webs. But yeah, so they're part of, both those things there are part of the ride's history.
I was amazed by this last time, because you don't face this bit, you just sort of fly around and look at this, and you don't notice this.
So this is the so again, this is pretty much unchanged.
Is that a Temple of Mayhem ball? I'm sorry, I've got to ask.
The turntable over there.
It does. Is that a Temple of Mayhem ball down there? That's unreal, sorry.
No, I was like,
I didn't see that last time. Sorry.
Bit of theming from Chessington.
Wow, there's one there. Yeah, there's one there as well.
That wasn't there last week, so.
Do you know what? Temple Mayhem's come back from dead.
Yeah. Again, theming from old rides.
Wow.
This is a good room
Sorry.
for old rides, because that's got Temple Mayhem in it as well. So that turntable over there used to have Abdab on the side that we're seeing at the moment. It would turn around, and over there that mummy would fly out, and then Abdab would fall into that sarcophagus there. And you can kind of see in his hand, he's actually holding the jewel. It's not lit up anymore, so it's not as obvious, but that jewel just pop up quite a bit within Tomb Blaster still. It was actually really important through the Terror Tomb storyline. We now do have a mummy that turns around on this turntable. That mummy was used in the final battle scene of Terror Tomb. His actual official name is Spook the Guitarist. I'll tell you why he's called Spook Guitarist a bit later on, but no, that is the same animatronic they used there.
It originally used to have Abdab on this side, which would then flip over, and he would then come like out of the coffin. So it would, you know, the illusion was he went behind there and then came out the coffin.
Yeah.
And yeah, the jewel is the jewel that Abdab was trying to steal all along in Terror Tomb.
Pink. So this area over here is called Axe Alley. These axes used to move, but a lot of people started grabbing them as they were coming down, so they've stopped them from moving now. We also have over here, we have, this was a jackal during, not Fifth Dimension, during Terror Tomb. They've now changed him into Anubis, so you can see they've dressed him up to look a bit more like Anubis. He still does move. A lot of people never see him and say, has he always been here? He has always been here. And then over here we have this skeleton that is being dipped into lava. Again, that's been here since Terror Tomb. He used to go up and down. That has not worked for a long time. But this guy over here, he still moves, and the effect was supposed to be that he was winding it and pulling him up and down, but his mechanism no longer works.
They're quite big actually. These go quite far down to the floor. I did move a bit.
This part is the question if it was on today or not. So with this section over here, it used to be hand puppets of people with axes. Apparently it has been turned back on this season. You can actually see all the cables that work. Did you guys see it today when you came on? Was there like a shadow of a person on the wall?
No, I don't remember looking.
We'll have to pay attention to it next
the
time.
effect
Yeah.
is back, and apparently these have come back. So
I've
these
seen
used
them
to
come out this season. Yeah.
So these used to not work, and these blades now come back out again, and that is sort of go with these, and also
I've seen those
this
this
guy over
season.
here who's still getting that scoring signs. He's again been since Terror Tomb days. So no, so it's very good that we're starting to work on things. And if you stand just here, you can actually kind of see where the mechanism behind or where that shadow actually is. So this area is the fire pit scene where we meet Anubis. Anubis was added for Terror Tomb. So they actually had to build Anubis in-house. When we get around to the other side, you can see a lot better that the head is an animatronic, the rest of him is not. And you can actually see how deep down they had to build to make him. So Anubis is the ancient Egyptian god of death. A lot of people take that as he was sort of evil. He's not. He's more of a guide to the afterlife. He would actually weigh your heart up against a feather to see if you've lived a good life, and if you have, he would send you off into the afterlife.
Yeah, we're walking around for a photo op, but we'll just obviously take it in, Kurt.
Right there, that pink one on his tooth is really good.
There's one purple one there and
There are a couple of random ones.
I just heard you say there's a jewel over there. That is one of the jewels from Terror Tomb. So you can actually also see there's little holes within this pillar here. That's because Abdab used to be on it and he was reaching across trying to grab that jewel. So if you come over this way, you can actually see, he's at a perfect angle for us to see it. He's actually, you can see directly into Anubis's head. which kind of shows that that head is the only part of him that's the animatronic. The rest of him is just carved out.
You guys are actually welcome to press the button yourselves, which is a fun thing to do. Kate will direct you. It's just the big red button there. You want to press it.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So if they're ever offloading people, they have to press this button first. It has its own special button because it actually doesn't like to listen to the scene stop button. So when we press scene stop, it does not stop. Hence why it was still going when we came around.
That is also different to Thorpe Park and Alton Towers. They can actually leave it on. So in Curse of Alton Manor, during evacuation, during offloads, they can leave the trommel on. And I've heard guests who have been in there a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, it also means that if obviously the red brake does in it, it's not great because then people are just getting dizzier and dizzier, which is not the aim at all.
With owls, we will turn it off immediately.
They're down in the pit.
Down here is one of my favourite things that we've discovered here. So down here is a sarcophagus that was actually used in Terror Tomb. So this would sit right in the middle there where the snake is, and it would have Abdab in the middle of it. And at the exact same time, there would be, right on top of this podium here, there would be a spook guitarist, as we spoke about earlier, playing a guitar and singing a song. And on the other podium, there would be 3 dancers. So during that song, he would sing, now because you've stolen the jewel, now you must become a ghoul. This sarcophagus would close, and then unfortunately it doesn't end very well for Abdab. We do see him a bit later on, but he's not in the best of state. So this has been here since the end, the day Terror Tomb closed. That's just been sat there.
Known to move and stick its tongue out and put it back in when the rider's completely literally turned off. We were taking photos here for the promotion of Tomb to put it on our website, and I was literally sat in this one. And in the photo, the live photo, you can see me turn around like, because suddenly we heard a noise and the mouth creaked open. It was literally out of a horror movie, honestly.
Yeah.
But it does kind of turn by itself. Honestly, I don't know why.
Looking directly at. Do you guys have any questions about anything you've seen so far? I know we've spoken a lot of information. So when they made this into Terror Tomb, they wanted it to be a scary ride. So the first train that went round, they were listening in anticipation, that's the right word. And when they got to this section, everyone started screaming and they knew it was a scary ride. When you do actually look closer, have you ever noticed he has his tongue sticking out on that one? That one's got a lot of hair. Again, they're quite scary, but again, they have their goofy tendencies, and a lot of people still to this day do jump.
Here is the second turntable.
Obviously, it's not very far from the ride, not too dangerous. The engineers can actually ride the ride, kind of like little cars, like they're playing cars. And they would stand on this bit here, and they would use these buttons to make them either go round or go backwards, reverse, whatever. So what they would do, obviously, they would turn the turntable, as Katie said, and then reverse in using the buttons. So we have an E-stop, we have ride launch, that's just for engineers, bar release, that's just for engineers, bar release, that's actually what ride staff use. If, for example, what I said about the fire alarm about the emergency stop release of bars, if they didn't emergency stop and they had to come around and release everyone's bars like manually, they'd press bar release and then bar close again, like an engineering thing. And this is their little panel that they'd use, but they literally would reverse them like little trains. That's what they do in the winter when we're all not around. They just play around with them.
So long to Tomb Blaster, and hello to Fifth Dimension, which is hidden away down here. Now with the house lights on, which you can't see, you can see the ceiling and you can see the blue above it from Fifth Dimension.
In fact, it's like a million years old. There's actually another room around the corner which we can't get into. Yeah, you can.
So this is something else you never noticed, the fact that you got the blue ceiling here.
Honestly, it makes you think they didn't try very hard at all.
Which they didn't hide, and I haven't noticed that when the ride's open. You can't see the one through here with the black, but yeah, the blue here, never noticed it, but that is Fifth Dimension, and that goes into that room, which you can't go in this time. However, you can go back on the channel and have a look at that, because we have been in that room, and that goes across to there, and there's far more stuff on the wall. But yeah, this is Fifth Dimension. Amazing what you see with the house lights on. The sun comes down at Chessington, and that was the Tomb Blaster behind the scenes tour. It's great to walk Tomb Blaster. What did you think?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of information in there, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there is.
A lot taken out.
And there's a lot which you don't see on the ride, which you can see.
No, I said to Kurt that when the lights are on, there's just a lot you don't notice, and even some new effects and things. Now, there are definitely some more information which they told us on this time round from the preview. I wouldn't say the tour's particularly different, and the fact you can't get into the last fifth dimension room's a little bit of a kicker, because I really wanted to go back in there just for nostalgic purposes. However, I didn't notice the ceiling last time, so it was good to spot other little bits as you go round. The Tomb Blaster experience itself, I think, is worth it. Just, you know, the control panel, the information we had this time round was far more advanced than what we had first time round. Although we can't film that, it's really interesting to see how that old Mac panel works. There's so much to it. There's just so much to it. And I understand what everything is and some of the really unique features actually that has. I mean, the fact that they can stop one of the trains without stopping the rest of the trains in the first scene before it goes on the lift hill in case there's a problem is amazing, that they have like create their own block for it. It's really something. Really enjoyed that. I thought that was brilliant. That was a treat from Kurt for Father's Day, so thank you very much, Kurt. And although I've done it once, I've now done it twice, but highly recommend it. And Kurt's done it once as well, but I highly recommend it. The team here are always brilliant at Chessington. You can tell they've had a long day. They said they've been really short-staffed today, and they've had lots of problems, but bless them, you know, they're still around now. It's nearly 8 o'clock, and they've guided us around Tomb Blaster for the last hour and a half, so massive thank you for them, regardless of what we paid for it. They were brilliant. And yeah, Tomb Blaster, if you haven't done it, make sure you do.